welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm your host Joe Scott. I'm joined here by Tony. Tony's at RT. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I've upgraded my dick. I mean, I've played the dick update.
Okay, the dick update's out.
The dick
It's the
update. I don't know
main news.
it's my main news, yeah. And I've got some quick Lego news as well. I don't know if
No,
you wanna.
you've already said that in the Tangerine. That's a Tangerine exclusive, Tony. You can't
Are
tell
we
me.
gonna keep that as Tangerines exclusive now?
The
Okay, that's
video,
fair. That's
the
fair.
video's coming out like in a couple of days. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna say. Well, is our plan from like? I'm just gonna stay tuned for Tangerines where you can get updated on Lego news.
stay tuned for Tangerines, where I talked about games I played last year.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've played so many games and nobody knows I've played them because I keep not making Tangerine videos on them.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
You played a lot of games.
Stellaris Nemesis expansion. It's out now, and you've said you've played what, 20 hours or something?
24 hours, I want to say.
Right.
It's not Steam doesn't quite track it properly now. It's been over 2 weeks. It's been over no, it's been less okay, so this should be the right number. Yeah, 24 hours though.
You set up for a whole day and just play Stellaris.
Yeah, that's what I did. No, I was playing it for like 3 to 5 hours over the course of a week. So
Hmm. This is some really.
when did it come out?
I don't know if you're watching the trailer, but this shit looks cool.
Yeah, the trailer is very cool.
And it's like stuff you would never see unless you really zoomed in for some reason.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I guess I should go for the because there's the Dick update and the Nemesis expansion, right? I guess we
Hmm.
should like separate that out. I've not had too much experience with the actual Nemesis expansion
Well,
yet.
it's very late game, isn't it? The Nemesis.
Yes, and like it's even more late game than I thought it would be in certain situations.
Right.
And one of them I don't really want to do, unless I like a really specific like because Nemesis adds two systems, right? It adds
Hmm.
a system of where you can take control of the galactic community and like make it into like an empire.
Yeah.
That's super late game as far as I can tell. Like it's really hard to get there, and you need a crisis to like give you emergency military power. It's basically the prequels of Star Wars, right? That's kind of what's going on with
What?
that part of the expansion. Like you become the Senate.
I am the Senate.
Yeah, and then you're like, you know what? I don't want to give my emergency powers away. I'm just going to form an empire.
Hmm.
And the other half of it, though, is you can become the crisis, where the whole point is then to destroy pretty much everything. Like you're creating like a black hole detonation device, as far as I can tell. But it's very expensive, and you need to
You
like spend
become
points to unlock
the
it.
fucking universe terrorist.
Yeah,
You become
you become the Borg Reapers or
no,
whatever.
I was gonna say you become the Lindenberg guy in Star Trek Generations. What's his name?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. But that on like a galactic scale, I guess.
What's his name? He's just like going. Well, yeah, he's just like I want to blow up planets to get back into the next. Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, yeah. It's more like a Borg or a Reapers thing. They just want to destroy everything, though. Like it's like a total annihilation sort of. It's
Oh,
the Dave way to win the game, I think.
war
Vietnam
victory.
Dave. Yeah, I don't think he knows
He's now
about
called
the Nurse
Halo. He's
expansion.
now called Halo 4 Dave.
Oh, Halo Dave, right?
Halo
That's
4
true.
Dave. That's his favorite one.
Halo 4 Dave.
Yeah.
Very specific. Very specific. That's spoilers for Tangerine, right?
There's no spoiling Halo 4. It's terrible. Go on.
Right, right. So yeah, that's the Nemesis expansion. The Dick update.
Right.
Actual name, Dick update.
Named after
I can't even remember who it's named
named after
after.
the Philip Dick, right? The sci-fi
Philip
writer.
Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all
Philip K.
updates for
Dick.
Stellaris. Right. Okay. All Stellaris updates are named after a sci-fi writer or sci-fi author of some kind. So I don't know who Dick is though. I'm not
Philip
actually
K.
to be fair,
Dick.
most of them I have no idea who they are. But
He
yeah, the what do you
stuff
write?
like he's credited for movies. He's credited for Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
okay.
He's not. He didn't. I don't think he directed them, but
No. But you like put input into it, I guess.
um,
Interesting. I did not know that.
I think it was mostly his. Um, Are they just adaptations of his books? I think he wrote the books for
Oh,
those wrote the
oh,
books, and then those
right,
films were based on his books.
right. Okay, that's even more impressive then. Okay, very interesting. But yeah, the actual Solaris Dick update is I guess the espionage update, I guess. That's kind of what it is. Like, there's now a fog of war. I don't know if you remember playing it, like, you could very quickly just, like, see into other empires' borders.
Uh,
Now that's quite
I
difficult
was going
now.
to say, probably his most famous one is "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep," which is what
Oh,
Blade Runner's based on.
yes. I have heard of that, actually. So, yeah.
Yep. Just to let you
Okay,
know who
okay.
Philip K. Dick is. He also did The Man in the High Castle. If you've seen the Amazon show, where it's set in an alternate universe where
The
um,
Nazi
the
universe.
Nazis won the war, yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Never, I've never watched that series. But yeah, this last thing is the espionage system. So you remember that? You remember like once you met an empire, right? You could then basically see like all of their territory.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer the case. Like once you meet you remember like before you'd like meet a science ship in like you're scanning a system, they're scanning a system,
Yeah.
and like oh let's investigate them. You no longer use science to do that. Then you now use the envoy system. I don't know if was the envoy system in when you last played.
I don't know.
Do you remember envoys?
I played when the Democratic update was in. I think is it Democratic update?
Well, the Federation's one.
Yeah, it's a very different
Yeah,
Federation. Yeah.
just before the 4 year anniversary, I think. Okay, that's early 2020. Okay, I
Yeah.
think envoys were in there then. But yeah, so you use envoys instead of researchers to like actually. So you start like a first contact now. So you try
Okay.
so like you just like send out an envoy to try and figure out what this alien race is. It's not just like playable empires either though. Like it also does it to like the ancient droids or the weird void clouds or what's the other one? There's another one.
You
Oh,
don't
crystals,
remember.
crystals. It's the same for those as well. Like you have to like discover those. Like it's like a first contact. Like it's very Star Trek. Like
Mm.
you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and then once you have initiated first contact,
Hello,
there's an
Dad.
intel system, so you can basically spy on other empires to see what they have. But if you don't have intel on them, like you have no idea what they have at all. Like you have no idea what their fleet size is. You know, no idea
So
how
do
good
you
their
need to send
economy is.
like spies and stuff to go and look at
Yeah,
them?
so you can send an envoy to initiate a spy network, which will like, gain
Okay.
in not intel. Gives you information. It's another I. It's like insurrection. What's the word?
Infiltration.
Infiltration. That's it. There's another. So you can increase infiltration by sending an envoy as a spy over to increase the spy network, and then once they've set up the network, you have an espionage page when you
Mm.
click that on the Empire contact screen, which then means you can then actually initiate. I guess I don't know what you'd call it like assignments. I guess like secret assignments, like a James Bond sort of thing. Like you can like one of the
Secret
more
missions.
expensive
Just
ones
send them
is
on.
yeah, one of the more expensive ones like it costs energy as an upkeep and energy up front to like do some of these. The most expensive one is like you can like make a big pirate fleet spawn in their territory, but
Yeah.
obviously only if it's successful because it's actually quite difficult to get to be successful. You kind of need other stats to try and help you out.
Mm.
So it massively changes the early game. Like you have no idea what the hell's going on, and like you're trying your best to try and figure out what's going on and what you need to worry about.
What I
I really, it's
remember of the early game was just flying around, scanning planets, looking for
yeah,
materials, and then getting 7 pop-ups about different interterrestrial threats I had to
yeah.
deal with. But it was pretty
So the
slow apart
pop
from that.
ups, yeah, the pop ups are slower now because like there's less you know at once.
Right.
There's not so there's still the same science pop ups that you would generate yourself, but there's less diplomatic pop ups because you know less about the surroundings around you.
Mm.
Um, So yeah, it just it makes that to me. I really like the first 50 years. Like it's so much better than the old system. Um,
I thought the Stellaris early game was the best bit. So
yeah, and it's even better.
wow.
So it actually feels like playing Star Trek. Like it feels like you're playing like Earth. Let's say you play as Earth. It's like playing Earth, but, like you don't even know the Vulcans. It's like you just like you have no idea what the fuck's going on. You're like, who are these? Are these bad guys? And you can like close your borders to intel to stop other empires from like easily like seeing into your space as well. Like if you were a xenophobe, for example.
Mm.
So there's a lot of things you can change to like try and stop espionage as well as conduct espionage. But the other big change they've done as well is that they've changed the production system and how pops. So there's been a big pop crunch. So there's going to be less pops in the galaxy, but each pop does slightly more.
Okay.
And they added a new. I don't even remember how the districts and buildings worked in Solaris.
Strangely, yes.
Okay, so there's a planetary size which dictates how many districts you can build on a planet.
Yeah.
And there used to be only 4 on a normal planet, like city, energy, mineral, and food. There's
Right.
now a 5th, which is industrial, which produces alloys and consumer goods.
Yeah.
Before, the old system was there were 2 different buildings. There was a building that produces alloys and a building that produced consumer goods, and you could like spam them onto the I guess onto the planet.
Right.
Now that you can only build one of them, which just upgrades the districts, and that's about it. And it's like for specializing your planets.
We'll get.
And the other thing is,
I was just gonna say we're getting to a point where we're gonna need Stellaris Tangerine because
yes, I was thinking we probably should have a Stellaris Tangerine.
yeah,
I mean, 10 minutes of Stellaris.
you'd love to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that before building slots were based on the population. Now it's built. So now the city district itself adds more building slots.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a trade-off between like otherwise you just like spam industrial districts because they're so powerful.
Mm. Wasn't there like a
So,
update or a DLC that was very like about industrial stuff? What was that called?
was it the Megacorp one or the
Megacorp. That's what I was talking about.
yeah? So Megacorps have been slightly boosted because of this to a certain extent, although they got a lot of their stuff from trade value.
Right.
But they also do really well with consumer goods and things as well. So they can just trade, they can just sell more stuff on the market. So, but the big change here though is right. Building slots used to be based on population size, and like so you were really stuck early game trying to like get alloys and consumer goods, and it was like really slow. And it's been like this for the last year. This wasn't always the case. Like when they initially implemented the alloy system, you could get alloys very quickly.
Mm.
So for the last year, robots have been really broken because they could easily get alloys, and as a normal empire, you couldn't. Now, however, like the scales haven't been turned, it's everything's now balanced. Like you can now actually just build up your economy so much better, and it just feels so much. It feels just more organic the way you're growing your empire now, and it just feels so much better. And yeah, I mean, I've only played the first 100 years at the most on my main save, so I can't say
We need a
how the population system works
we
there.
need a Stellaris Tangerine with Michael and Dave, and then
Yeah,
I will be somewhere else, and then
yeah.
you guys can understand Stellaris, and I'll be like,
You,
okay.
were you like
I watched
introduce the show then leave?
yeah, hello, Michael Tangerine, goodbye.
Bye.
It'd be like I was watching Read the Fucking Manual, the new J2 Cents podcast. I watched the first episode of that.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were saying like his camera people, the people that behind the scenes, Phil and Nick. He was saying like Jay fucking loves battleships. He loves World of Warships.
Yeah, he does.
And he was saying
He loves
like
ships.
his friends always try and play with him and understand what's going on, but ultimately they're just there because they're like, yeah, this is something you enjoy, but we don't really get it, sort of thing. And that's how I feel like about Stellaris. I'm just like, I've played it. It's pretty complicated. I don't
It
know if
is
it's
quite
for me.
complicated. There's no tutorial. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn.
But yeah, think the game is a good game if you like this sort of thing.
Yeah, I honestly think it's one of the best 4X games out there.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not that there's certain things it
Well,
doesn't
I
do
mean,
compared to
when
others,
it comes
but
to Space 4X games, Civ Beyond
oh
Earth has
yeah,
to be up there for sure.
yeah. You got Stellaris and Beyond Earth. It's
Yeah.
been take your pick, right? There's also what's it called? Stars. There's something called the Star in
Star
its name.
Citizen. Yep, I know that one.
Yeah, Star says
Um, I don't. You would know better than me about Space 4X games.
you don't. There isn't that many. Oh, I guess there's Oh, I forget all the names of them now, but yeah, there are other ones, but I don't know. Solaris is the biggest by far, like
Endless
the scope of it.
Space,
Yeah, Endless Space is
Sins
one.
of a Solar Empire,
Yeah, that's what I was
Galactic
thinking of.
Civilizations, Masters of Orion.
There's the one with Space Bears in. I can't remember what that one's called. And that begins with Star. Like Star. Maybe Steam can help me if I just search for Star.
Star Wars.
Star Drive. Star Drive.
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Yeah. And there's Gal Civ 3, of course. That's a Massive Orion. These are like big ones.
Okay.
I think that's about it though. I think the rest are like just like one
just
planet.
give me a quick thoughts on Nemesis so far. What do you think? Good or bad?
I'm not sure the Nemesis expansion is worth it. I've not played it enough, but I
Dick
would be
update
kind
early
of
game improved. Robots
yeah. Dick
nerfed.
the actual Dick update very good. I will say there's been a problem.
Right.
There's a late game problem that people have been reporting where you can't like there's like an S curve to how so this is like to fix the performance late game.
Okay.
There's currently an S curve where like, you can like grow massively in the mid game to like early late game,
Yeah.
and then suddenly like you then can't grow new pops very quickly, and it's like really slow apparently. So like you can't then there's like a lot of late game planets that you can build that need like loads of pops to make it function, and like you suddenly can't. You have to move people out at the moment, and people are kind of complaining about that. That's been like the big complaint about it. But the early game is absolutely fantastic. It's like a much needed balance change, and I think that's all my thoughts on it. So I think we can move on.
All right. 505 Games to publish a game called Rogue Spirit due out in early access in August. Let's watch a trailer for this.
Trailers.
Trailers. Don't worry, I will talk. Yeah. I will talk forever about other games because I've been playing one of these games that the trailer's out on as well.
Oh really? Oh, okay, right.
And I'll probably do a Tangerine on it.
Yeah.
I just thought it looked cool. The idea was like you possess the enemies you kill, and then you change which enemy you're possessing to use their unique abilities to fight battles. I just thought it was a really like cool idea. I don't know much about it. I literally just saw this trailer on Reddit, and I was like, "That looks fun." So that's why I chose this this trailer.
So as long as they're dead, you can control them, I guess.
I honestly don't know. To be honest with you.
So if you kill, so if you kill an enemy, like, you basically get their abilities set.
It's
in
like
a way.
it's like a roguelite thing. So I guess every time you start, you want to kill like a specific enemy to get their possessed powers. It's called Rogue Spirit, which is why it's a rogue game.
Yeah. It looks quite fun though.
It's been developed by a team in Poland. It's going to be a fantastic game. Nobody in Poland's ever made a bad game. Just look at CG Project Red. No one in Poland's ever made a bad game.
I mean, The Witcher 1, fantastic game.
Right. Let's talk about a game. Trailer for a game I've been playing recently that is confusing me more than Tony talking about Stellaris. Portal Reloaded. Tony, did you ever play Portal? Have you ever see like people playing Portal 2 and go, that looks too easy. We need to add another Portal.
To be fair, later on in the life cycle of the game, I did start to see people like doing really weird speedruns. I'm like, yeah, I need more complicated levels at this point. But I thought it was quite complicated, personally, trying to solve the puzzles. So, no, I did not think that.
I talked about the trailer, and I looked on like the SteamDB, calendar, which shows you all the game releases, and it was like Portal Reloaded, a popular mod, is coming out in April. I was like, what? And I looked. I was like, oh, it's coming out in a couple of days. I was like, so I've been playing through this, and yeah, if you thought like some of the community made Portal challenges were hard, this just adds a whole new depth to it.
It's
Um,
very confusing. Did they reconstruct like the voice? You know, I can Portal 2 like before with GLaDOS. Spoilers, by the way, guys.
yeah,
When GLaDOS is
spoilers.
still dead,
Oh
and they
my,
have
I
like
can't believe
the
you
guy at
spoiled
the
that.
start. Is it similar to they reconstructed that voice in this?
No, it's like a
What?
new AI voice.
Okay, it's just very similar.
It's basically like an AI voice. At the end of Portal 2 co-op,
Yeah,
GLaDOS uses Atlas and Peabody, to go and find a bunch of like frozen human test subjects.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
So at the start of Portal Reloaded, you're playing as one of those test subjects that's been unfrozen to go and test out this
right.
time portal technology. I
But
just
GLaDOS doesn't want to deal with you.
I was explaining this to my brother today, like I think it's pretty like easy and to get your head around because it starts off with you don't even have a portal gun. It starts off just like at the start of Portal where it makes the portals for you and then you have to
Yeah, to
like solve
help you
puzzles around them.
understand.
And
Yeah.
then I think it's level 5, or test puzzle 5 was when I got really stuck. But then once I understood the core idea of puzzle 5, that's what helped me understand what the hell was going on.
Right,
Um,
right.
so like so just to try and explain it to you, it's like I feel like you need a physics degree to play this game. It's like so for one of the puzzles, you need a cube. So what you can do
Right.
is you can go into the future and take the future cube into
There's no cubes in the present.
yes. So you can take you no, there's a cube in the present, but it also
Oh,
exists in the future, and you can take the
yes,
future
because
cube from the future back into the past. If you try and
would there
take
be then two cubes in the future though?
no, because if you try and take the present cube into the future, that cube no longer existed.
But okay. But if what I'm saying is, if you take a future cube and put it in the present, there's now, and you then leave it for like 1,000 years, there's surely those two cubes will stay there, and then in the future they will just like propagate.
I don't. But what happens is like one thing I had to get my head around was, I moved a cube in the present, and then I took a cube from the future and then moved it in. I was like, oh, this is easy. And then I moved the cube from the present, but then moving the cube from the present stopped that cube that existed in the same timeline from ever existing, which means that cube no longer existed. Do you
Yeah,
understand what I'm
yeah,
like? We're start
yeah.
like how
Back to the future logic.
it's starting to get like very time portals also have momentum. Time portals can only be placed on a surface that is also a surface in the future and the past. It gets very
Oh,
complicated very
okay.
quickly.
So you could shoot at a surface and it doesn't create one. Like, oh, that surface isn't there in the future.
Yes, because of the
Right. Okay.
deterioration. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the reason this was released actually is because it's Portal 2's 10 anniversary. I think it was like a week ago or something. It's the 10th
Yeah.
anniversary of Portal 2, which is pretty crazy to think about because I think I have like at this because I recently just played through Portal 2 again. I'm sure I'm
Right.
going to talk about this in a tangerine, so I shouldn't go too deep into it. But I played Portal 2 again recently. I think I have like 70 hours in Portal 2 now.
Oh,
I
really?
think Portal 2 is one of my favorite Valve games. Like it's getting to that
Yeah,
point
I
where
really like Portal 2.
I love Portal 2. And so if you want to play this, you just need to own Portal 2. You don't need to install it as like a weird source mod. It has its own store page. All you need to do is own Portal 2 on Steam, and you can install this and play it. I'd
It's like,
recommend it so
yeah.
far, but be prepared to be very, very, very confused. That is my experience so far. It's like
It's
the game itself says, "Hey, this is meant for people who've finished Portal 2 and are looking for a challenge." Like it's not
yeah.
if you've never played Portal before, do not play this mod first. You'll just
Imagine playing
lose
this
it.
first. Holy shit.
I think I'm going to check out this
Imagine...
Portal game. Portal Reloaded. That sounds like the first one. Let me try that one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Tony. Did you see
It's...
the new Age of Empires 4 gameplay? Let's talk about this.
I have not. I'm still not.
Click on the
I'm
video,
not. I'm
Tony,
not
and give it a
sure.
watch.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good, right? That's like
Yeah.
my big thing about all these new Age of Empire remakes, and I guess now full. Well, I
Isn't
guess
it? How,
remaster.
wait,
Sorry,
how many versions of Age of Empires 2 did we figure there was?
3.5,
There's Age of Empires
wasn't
2,
there?
Age of Empires 2 HD,
Yeah,
Age of Empires 2
yeah.
Remastered or something.
Was enhanced or something? It's something. Yeah, something like that. And then there's. But I swear, like you can like in one of the versions, you can like go back to like an older version inside of one of them. I'm like,
Hmm,
does that count as a mode?
I don't know.
I don't know. Are we counting that?
Do you have any interest in playing Age of Empires 4? I should ask you that first.
I don't know. I find I like the look and like it's the feel of it. I think is the problem. Like it
Hmm.
feels a bit weird to me. Like I feel like you either get Age of Empires mechanics or you don't.
Well, because I used to.
I like the walls.
I
The
don't.
walls look good here though.
I don't like RTS games. I thought when it like zoomed in on, I thought some of these textures were looking kind of not great when you started to zoom in on the
Yeah,
textures.
I
But
would take performance over good textures though.
yeah,
To be honest with you.
but I was like, Age of Empires 2 was one of the games I used to play when I was a kid, sort of thing, like
Oh,
younger.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I actually played quite a bit of Age of Empires 2, even though despite not liking the RTS genre, I had played a bit of Age of Empires 2 and Warcraft 3 were the ones I played, and I thought I liked building defenses and stuff. But I always found
Yeah.
my problem
Yeah.
with games like RTSs or 4X games was that as soon as I got too many units, I hated micromanaging just really big armies and
Yeah.
massive units.
That's pretty fair. It sounds like you prefer macro to micro, which I prefer.
Mm.
I prefer macro as well. I was thinking about the economy, not how you move individual units and make it optimum. Like I just find that
Yeah.
really annoying. It's like too much actions. APM. It's too
Yeah.
much. I want slow APM.
You're not a StarCraft 2 pro.
No, that's kind of why I sucked at StarCraft actually. Like I couldn't. There wasn't enough tools to make it.
Boomer hands. Boomer hands.
Yeah. For something like StarCraft 2, for example, I always wish there was like a unit like an army formation button so you could like quickly like restructure your army. But
Mm.
now you have to do that manually. Like that's what StarCraft's all about. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but I guess I'm interested in it. Like I'll wait and I'll look at the reviews, but I've never had much
Well, the thing
luck
is,
with any
like,
Age of Empire game.
my friend Matt, he's always trying to get me. I've never like been into Warhammer, and he's always trying to get me into Warhammer, which I don't mind. Like, I think the Warhammer universe is cool, but all the good Warhammer games are RTSs, which I don't like.
Yeah,
So the
he's
ones
a Sigma guy, isn't he? Right? He prefers
like
Age of
I
Sigma.
like Vermintide 2, and I like
Yes, Sigma. Yeah.
and I've played Death Space Wing Death Hulk, which I just like. I'll do Tangerine on it. But speaking
That's
of
okay.
that,
Okay.
Warhammer Vermintide 2 actually. I was gonna say I was still hoping that Age of Empires 4 was gonna be the army soldiers. Do you remember that old PC Gamer ad when it was
Oh
like Age of Empires
yeah.
1, Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 3, and then Age of Empires 4 was going to be army soldiers, then Age of Empires 5 was going to be
Well,
XCOMs.
I feel like okay, but I always thought Age of Empires had like this technology system, right? Like you would go from like an early age to a later age, and you like unlock units from
Yeah,
that.
but I've watched the trailers for Age of Empires 4 and there's no army soldiers in it,
No,
unfortunately.
but they're not
So
really showing any like different tiers of eras either. Though, so maybe
no, they
I
do.
don't know. I have to see more.
They do show like some progress, but it's through like primal age to like
Oh, they're showing it through.
feudal
Oh, I
age and stuff like
see.
yeah,
Is
stuff like that.
Imperial the last age then?
I
Okay.
yeah, something like that. But yeah. Warhammer Vermintide 2 is just got a free update called Chaos Wastes. So there's a free roguelite style expansion with 15 unique locations, and it looks pretty cool. Like it actually adds some interesting stuff to the game that isn't just like paid content. That is nice to see from Fat
This is
Shark.
actually free.
Yeah, it's a free content
Huh.
update. And as part of the download is also a remaster, and it will decrease the disk space it claims because Warhammer Vermintide 2 actually also takes up way too much fucking space. So I'm glad to hear that they're reducing the install size
Yeah.
of the game as well.
I mean, I'm still waiting for after the what's his name, Ravnik, the YouTuber. Like, I'm still waiting for like just having an install options when you install a game, so you don't install stuff you don't care about.
Oh, you're talking
That'd
about
be great.
not
What's his name?
Reykjavik. Is that what you said?
That's it. That's it. I can never remember his name. I can see it, but I can't like remember the actual characters used.
Hmm. Anyway.
This is what
Yeah.
Raknovik's.
I
Okay.
think, isn't Reykjavik a place in Iceland?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think.
But I think that's his name.
Also, isn't Ravnica a place in Magic the Gathering?
Reykjavik. Raycevick. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's him who made the video on why games are massive. Like, they uncompress files. They leave
Yep.
all the languages in. They leave all the
All
resolutions
the textures.
in. Yeah. So.
Yep.
And the thing is, a lot of it was to help people with PCs that weren't good enough to decompress the files, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fine, but then why not just have options to only install the stuff you want? Like, you don't have to download everything. That seems crazy to me.
But anyway, that looks pretty cool. I might play that.
Yeah, it does.
See what that's like.
I really want to play Vermintide 2. Do I own Vermintide 2?
There's a sale on right now, actually, I think. So if you don't...
Hang on, I'll double check.
If you don't own Vermintide 2...
I own it.
It's on sale. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Don't buy the DLC, it's a scam.
Yeah, what is the DLC?
It adds maps, but it's like the payday system, where if one person owns it, then everyone can play it.
Okay.
I think some of the DLC is really poorly reviewed, because it's way too expensive. And I think one of the DLC basically adds a new like Minotaur unit that makes the game harder, and it's like, but you only get that unit if you have the DLC. So anyone who doesn't have the DLC doesn't have to deal with that unit. And people were just really pissed off about it. It's like, you pay for DLC to make your gameplay experience worse.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think like some of the career DLCs they've been doing, people quite like, where they add like new classes basically to the game. So like I think they did the Holy Grail Knight, where they made like an alternative class for Marcus Kruber. The knight character, the like swordsman in Vermintide.
Yeah. So it kind of it's like a specialization in a way, or like a themed
as like a different way to play, and then they did like a cosmetic version of that, which is very negative right now in recent reviews.
Okay.
One of Vermintide's play for free, but it ends in 3 minutes, guys. So if you can download Vermintide 2 in 3 minutes, you can play it for free.
Right. So I guess that's a weekend thing then. Yeah. Okay.
So let's go on to quick news. We spent way too long on... we spent half an hour on trailers.
And Stellaris.
Yeah. We need... Stellaris news is banned from the podcast. It's now relegated to Tangerine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, if I have to... I mean, I'd have to make the video, right?
I can just show footage of trailers. I can do whatever you want. It's up to you.
Well, I feel like I'd want to actually show the mechanics and things. So I just need to figure out how I want to do that.
Let's move on to quick news. EA is getting exclusive rights to the Masters for its golf game. That's right, guys.
What?
I'm a golf fan now of golf games. So if
right, okay.
I like golf. I like golf for your friends. So I guess I'm going to be looking into other golf games. So
I'm not sure about this.
If you want to play if you're a huge fan of the Masters golf tournament, you're gonna have to play EA, I'm afraid.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes it do be like that.
What?
I don't know. I was just realizing that I moved my pictures folder, and now there's no longer a picture of a skeleton on the screen underneath.
Not again. Not again.
I moved my pictures folder because I'm getting rid of my hard drive because I don't need it.
Right.
It's worth.
I think you need some.
It's worth.
Make it just all OBS.
Yeah, it was always all OBS. Cox.
Okay.
Amazon has cancelled its Lord of the Rings MMORPG. I know you're very distraught about this, Tony.
Can I just say, I'm not fucking surprised. Like, I was kind of expecting this.
So my first question is, wasn't there already a Lord of the Rings MMO?
Yes, there was.
Wasn't there like Lord of the
At least
Rings
I thought so.
Online or something?
Yeah, wasn't there also like a weird strategy, not strategy game as well? That people were like,
I remember Lord of the Rings, the Twin Towers was a lit game on PS2.
yeah,
Lord of the Rings Online was a game for 2007, so there was already a Lord of the Rings MMO.
yeah.
Apparently, what happened, Tony? So this is the story. They were going to
Change the
work.
story.
They were going to work with a Chinese company,
Yeah.
with Tencent between them and Amazon, and apparently there was a dispute between Tencent and Amazon, and now it's no longer development. And it seems
It's
like,
as easy as that.
despite Amazon going and buying up huge industry talent like Colin from
Yeah,
Real Was,
Colin, big talent.
they still struggling to make any games. They've released Crucible. Um,
I can't wait for their streaming service for games.
they released another game I forgot the name of, and they've delayed their other MMO that was coming out. So gonna
Yeah.
have to wait to see.
What's New Worlds is still like.
New World was the one that
So that's
looked.
been delayed again, has it?
I think it had like some criticism on the alpha. People were saying there wasn't enough content. I think.
Yeah, I thought people were. They like the premise though, right? Like I thought, like
Yeah,
it was.
it looked alright.
I thought it was
Crafting
okay.
and gathering
I
was
didn't want
good.
to play it though.
We got an update on Battlefield. So we've had promises that the next Battlefield game will be the return of all-out warfare. So there's going to be an increased player limit on the
Okay.
next Battlefield game. So Battlefield 6 will be a massive Battlefield, and they said there will be a reveal trailer on that soon. TM winky face. You do not have the right to say that to me, EA.
Wait,
If
they
it was
say winky face.
they literally put a winky face in their press docket. So
Right. I don't even like that Windows 10 winks at you when you sign back in.
uh,
Like that's too far as
that's
well.
too cheeky.
Yeah.
Bill Gates, fix your
Bill
shit.
Gates winking at
Bill Gates, fix EA Sports, as Snoop Dogg would say.
Yeah.
But I think the big announcement that we actually, because this was an announcement of an announcement, the actual announcement we got was the fact that there's a Battlefield mobile game coming in 2022. So, basically,
wait.
what I believe happened was that EA went, "Holy shit! Is COD Mobile making a lot of money?" I don't know. Do you know
Yeah.
about COD made a mobile game? And
I've vaguely seen stuff about this, yes.
so the Tencent-owned studio behind Call of Duty Mobile is basically, as a studio, is like one of the biggest studios in the world. They have like 10 billion revenue in 2020 just from like
Right.
Call of Duty Mobile. They've been making crazy bank off this. This is insane. So
Who's spending money on it though? I assume it's like a loot
China,
box thing, like-
Asia,
right.
Wales. People love this shit.
Wales.
Yeah, that's what you call them, like the 1% of people who buy. Like,
Oh, sorry, not Wales.
not Welsh people.
Not Welsh people. Yeah.
Welsh people proper love COD Mobile. They proper
Yeah,
love.
just imagining them just buying up all the the microtransactions. Like, yeah, we just love COD.
It's proper lush. All right. Satisfactory Update 4 is out. We talked about this briefly.
I still have not played it. I was gonna play it when 4 properly came out, and I still haven't played it.
You can now get drones. You can now get
Yep.
jetpacks. And my favorite part of the update, you can now get batteries for extra storage, and you
Well-
actually need it because you're going to need extra battery storage for the really
Yeah,
late
they-
game buildings that are coming in.
They've reworked tier 7 and added 8, right?
Yes, nuclear
Well,
power and
that's a big part of update 4. Is it like that nuclear waste is now like a thing you can then do something with?
Yes,
or
yes.
or
You
just
can like
up, I
package it
guess?
up and move it
Yeah.
around sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I really want to play this actually and just like actually try and get to late game this time instead of just kind of stopping.
I found myself slowing down a lot once I got to the oil part.
Yeah.
I think that's when the game starts to become more of a like a resource dump sort of thing, and you need to start massively expanding your factories at that point. I still want there to be a way to automate green power.
Farming and plants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want I want
Well,
automated biomass generators
yeah.
where I can
I
just set
guess the
up.
idea is that you're meant to not stick with the early game technology and get
Yeah,
later stuff
but I
going.
want to have the ability to be reliant on one resource and then farm all of that resource. I want a I want an Earth.
Right,
I want
right.
an Earth simulator. I want to destroy all the resources we have and then go fuck. I've got nothing left.
Right, right. I understand. I
Okay.
understand.
VVVVVV is getting its first update in 7 years. It's getting bug fixes, an editor
It's
update, and
VVVVVV.
60 FPS support. It's like a very, very old indie game. I think it's a platformer. It's one of like
Okay.
the staple puzzle platform games. But it's getting an update. It's getting 60 FPS support. It's one of the classics, Tony. It's one of the classics. Here it is on Steam. So yeah. Tony, how dare you say what is this game? It's on your wish list.
That may be so, but so
Anytime,
is the third Esteem.
anytime you call something out and it's on your wish list, I'm calling you out, Tony. Go and
Right.
clean
I
up
mean,
your go.
it's prestigious.
Until Tony cleans up his wish list, we're going to have to keep calling him out. I've cleaned up my wish
Right.
list. I only have like 30 games on there now, so.
Yeah, but I'm using it in a completely different way.
Next up, quick news. An upgrade patch for the Steam version of Nier Automata is currently in development. So, as we reported earlier, Nier Automata on Game Pass was released with basically a upgraded version that had a bunch of bug fixes that the Steam version didn't have. People are like, "What the hell, man?"
Yeah, why can't we have this?
Well, you are. The Game Pass version launched with a patch version, and now that version is coming to Steam. And I don't know anything about Nier Automata.
Brilliant.
There was a new Nier Automata game released, and it's like a prequel or something. I don't understand.
Yeah, I just checked before the podcast started. It is a remake of an older game that came out, I think, 11 years ago now.
Okay, but apparently it has the same performance issues that Nier Tomato had. So
Yeah, not surprised. Not surprised at all. They need to really upgrade like how they port these to PC.
we've got some sad quick news. Minecraft Caves of
Yeah.
Rift has been delayed, and it's also being split into two parts.
Yeah, so there's still going to be a summer update, but they've retracted a lot of the cave stuff and the
Yes.
high.
And the big announcement was basically the archaeology feature that they showed off is basically it's been shelved. It's been delayed
Yeah,
indefinitely. So because they realized that the archaeology feature would like change a lot of the core stuff in Minecraft, and they were like, okay, let's go and work on this.
Maybe make a new game. How about that?
I would call it Roblox 2. No? Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Roblox archaeology.
I'm shitposting. But that's sad to say. I was actually really excited for this summer update.
Yeah, we have to wait for Christmas time now. I think it's the new like both versions being completed.
Okay. I was really excited for that glow squid that I voted for, even though it had no combat mechanics.
I believe the glow squid will still be in the game in the first update.
Is glow squid coming with half one? I didn't look into it fully. I just know the basics.
I have to look back into it, but I think a lot of the will still be in the game, but like, a lot of it will either be like a weird mechanic to get it in survival, or you can only get it in creative.
Yeah. Okay. Ultra Kill the Soul Survivor update. So there is now the perfect door is open. So if you played Ultra Kill and you perfect the game, there is now a special door that has a secret behind it that is not being revealed. It will only be able to see by those who've perfected the game. There is also adding easier difficulties. If you've watched me play this on Spotlight, you will understand why they needed to add the easier difficulties. If you remember me playing the demo, do you remember me trying to defeat that boss over and over again in this game? And then I did another video where we stopped recording and I tried to defeat the boss for another like 10 to 20 minutes and still couldn't defeat it. But now they've added harmless and lenient are now selectable. So Harmless is recommended for players who don't play video games, where damage is very high and absurdly slow enemies. And then Lenient is recommended for players who have trouble keeping up with the standard difficulty with high damage but slower attacks and passive enemies. And then on Lenient, tension is still high but damage is easier to avoid. And there's also a new texture pack called Viva Visits texture pack called the Cyber Grind. Featuring the new fan favourite Skybox inside Gabriel's microwave. So yeah, it's interesting to see. Tony's muted. I'm going to carry on with the podcast. Okay. Next up we have Rockstar doing something good again. We had Rockstar randomly fixing GTA 5's loading times, and now they've updated LA Noire and Max Payne 3 on PC to have all the DLC for free. What the hell's going on inside Rockstar? Have they had an Ebenezer Scrooge moment where suddenly someone's had like a strange like a Grinch moment where their heart grows 2 sizes bigger in their chest? But yeah, that's pretty cool to see. It was just quietly updated on the 19th of April, and now you can finally have that. Next up, we have Jason Schreier, a notable insider when it comes to stuff about leaking stuff inside the gaming industry. And I gotta get
Hello.
Dave, what do you think about Jason Schreier confirming KOTOR remake is in development at Aspyr Media?
I don't understand what any of that means.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Tony's back.
Which one?
sorry,
Which
I'm
one?
back. I'm back.
BioWare or Obsidian?
It's being made by Aspyr Media.
Neither.
Okay, so neither.
Yes.
Oh,
I'll let you get back to it because I've been no help.
Okay. Aspyr Media is an American video game published by Michael Rogers and Ted Salek and Austin Tetz, originally funded to bring gaming titles to Mac OS. The company since then has been published over many entertainment for multiple gaming platforms. That's what I'll tell you about. I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. I just thought it was interesting that it was making a KOTOR remake, but I don't know much about the actual company making it. So
yeah. I assume you don't know much about like. I personally would love like just one massive game, like remakes both of them into one, but I realize it's like really difficult to like try and put that into one.
I mean, like
one executable.
BioWare's busy making their Mass Effect remake right now, but I think it would be interesting to see them have a go at a KOTOR remake. What was that thing I said I always wanted to play from KOTOR?
Oh, the card game. The
yeah, KOTOR card game.
I can never remember.
Pazaak.
Really
so
fun.
what's going to happen is they're going to remaster KOTOR, and I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to play Pazaak, because Pazaak, it's going to be The Witcher 3 all over again. I'm just going to play.
They're going to have to make they're going to have to make a phone version of Pazaak.
The Witcher 3. I saw like a shit post from The Witcher like a couple of days ago, like a tweet, and it was just like a big graph, like a line, and it's like time spent playing The Witcher 3, time spent playing Gwent, and the Gwent one was massive.
It's okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sony has backpedaled on the PlayStation Store. There was actually, you remember there was outcry on the PS3 and the PS Vita stores being shut down?
Yeah.
They've backpedaled on this. They're coming back. You can now purchase PS3 games from the PlayStation Store on PS3 and the PS Vita. They will continue to operate.
I never thought they would do this, to be honest with you.
Actually listen for a chance.
Yeah.
I think somebody made I saw this on Reddit, someone made a Chrome add-on so you can also access the PlayStation 3 store and the PS Vita store through Chrome as well. They made an add-on that allows you to do that if you still want to browse it on your internet browser and then later download it on your PS3, I guess.
So it's just like looking through it, I guess.
Yeah. Because people were saying that the reason they were doing this was because They didn't want PS3 games to pop up on the PS5 because you wouldn't. PS3 is not back. PS5 is not backwards compatible with the PS3, but PS4 is. So it's like it's fine if a lot of PS4 titles you can just play on the PS5, which makes sense that you would still want people to be able to see.
Are we not? Are we not at a point where the console technology is strong enough to like emulate two generations? Like, I feel like PS5 could emulate a PS3.
Yeah, but they don't have any real incentive to do it, I don't think.
No, but surely I could. But if I could still buy the games, like I could like buy the games as normal, but then like it's an emulation of it.
It's just more work for a very small player base, I think, is the thing.
I guess.
It's like
It'd be nice though.
Like the amount of people who are going to be buying a PS5 to emulate PS3 games is such a niche market that I don't think it would make sense for Sony to put time and resources into. Not saying that I agree with that they shouldn't. I honestly think they should.
No,
but
I just feel like it would be another thing. Like I feel like it in of itself it won't itself make money though. But I feel like it's another selling point. Like it's super backwards compatible, kind of like what Microsoft is doing. I feel like
that's the reason that the fat PS3 is so valuable right now is because it has the backwards compatibility. So it just goes to show you that people do actually want that sort of stuff. But
yeah, I feel like a lot of games are kind of timeless at this point. Like I feel like especially like children these days. Like I feel like we never really cared what year a game came out. Like it's only like the FOMO that like make people say that.
The real backwards and compatible game is fucking what is it? Homefront: The Revolution. Just start emulating all the games inside Homefront or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
Just load up Homefront and just start playing some Ratchet and Clank or something like that.
The Homefront emulator. That should be what the next emulation is called.
Okay, moving off quick news to why does this exist? Assassin's Creed Mr. Men.
What?
Why is this? I don't know. Ubisoft.
Wait, hang on. Question. Hang on. I got a pre-question. Is this a new segment that we've got? Why does this exist?
It was just two things I found that I was like, why do these things exist? So.
Okay.
Ubisoft announced a series of Mr. Men and Little Miss books from its biggest Assassin's Creed stars. 6 books will be released, with the first 3 being Mr. Ezio, Little Miss Cassandra, and Little Miss Ivor.
No.
However, these first may seem like parody novels. The series is being worked on by Adam Hargreaves, the son of original creator Roger Hargreaves, and the current writer and custodian of the new Mr. Men and Little Miss book. We have official Mr. Men Assassin's Creed books. Who's this for?
People obsessed with Assassin's Creed, and they don't realize it deserves to die at this point. I don't know. I'm not.
Next edition of.
I like the old idea.
Next edition of Why Does This Exist? Half-Life Alyx no VR mod.
It's for people that don't have VR and want to play Half-Life Alyx.
But I feel like you're completely missing the point. I feel like as soon as you...
Yeah, but... Okay, but... I completely agree with you. Like, it's like, obviously the game is meant to be in VR, but like, what if like you have no hope of ever affording one in like the next 10 years?
The only argument I can see for this is if it's an accessibility argument. If you're saying I'm disabled and I can't play VR, I understand that. I would understand wanting to play through this, but the game is it's like playing. There's people who are going to play Wii Sports without motion controls, and then they're going to go,
"Yeah,
this sucks," and I'm gonna like, that's what it's going to be like to play Half-Life Alyx without VR.
I feel like but I would say I feel like it's going to suck more. And I think there's going to be certain sections like, oh, this is only really playable in VR. But like, I feel like if you really like the story, like, would you not soldier through it, though?
If you really like the story, I'd rather you just watched it on YouTube, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I feel like you would get like a better experience than trying to play through this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd still rather play it than to watch this, though. But
would you play the no VR mod?
That's the thing. I'm just thinking, like, I'm trying to imagine if, like, I was like, oh, there's no way I can get VR, but I've got a PC and I can buy games. Like, I can buy one game every month from like my salary, so like I could get Half-Life Alyx and then like download this mod. I think I'd still rather play the no VR mod, I think, than just watching it.
what I would say to most people, like, you can save up, you can get secondhand Windows mixed reality headsets cheap. You can get secondhand Vives cheap. You can get, if you can save up, £300, you can get a Quest 2, which is probably the best headset on the market right now when it comes to the all-around headset. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, it's a privileged position to have a PC that can run VR and to have a VR headset. But at the end of the day, I feel like you're doing yourself such a disservice by trying to play this amazing game outside.
But I feel like
the way it was.
I don't know. I just feel like
it's not even like the way it was meant to be. It was the way it was designed.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like it doesn't make another way, yes, worse, but not necessarily invalid. Especially if you just really can't like bring yourself to like pay the expense, or you just don't have the PC to run it.
Okay.
But then again, but surely it still has to, the PC still has to be able to run the game at this point, though.
Yep. And it might even run worse.
Yeah, so that doesn't really. So implies you have a high-end or high-end-ish a computer, but not a headset.
And I mean, you can get.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I guess
when this was announced, pretty much everyone was sharing my sentiment where everyone was like, "You're doing yourself a huge disservice." Like, even like just looking at it here, like the fact I'm like, when you play this in VR, when you're healing yourself, you can turn around and use your gun in VR, and it's like there's moments in the game where you need to be healing yourself and also shooting enemies, and it's a huge tense moment.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's a terrifying horror game. But him playing this with perfect aim, it's just a boring walk through a subway.
Okay. I don't know, I just feel like compared to not playing it at all, though, I'm not sure.
I would rather not play the game than play it this way, is what I'm saying.
Right, I'm going to say, I think a compromise here is maybe wait, because I feel like we're going to get cheaper headsets as we go forward, just hold off.
Yeah, I think people should wait. I don't think they should be playing this. Like, the only argument I see is accessibility. It's the only argument I see.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that annoyed me. Like,
if you really want to play Half-Life Alyx, I'd suggest just wait for cheaper headsets, and because it will get cheaper. I honestly think it's going to get to. I think maybe not a mass adoption, but I think there's going to be like a big uptake in the next 5 years. So.
Okay, we have the Dave. Is Dave still here? I added Dave to the call.
Only not to be here. Continue, guys.
Dave, I have the Dave update. I have a section called the Dave update.
Right, I put in the timestamp.
I'll be here for this.
Dave, Rising Storm 2 update 1.6 is now live.
Yeah, it's a good and a sad time.
Because
wait, what is?
It's the final update for Rising Storm 2.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was already dead.
No.
Why does it need updates though?
It's a new map and balance changes.
Okay.
I can't get. Do you know anything about the balance changes, Dave? Could you go into that?
Sorry. I was just on Sea of Thieves and I just got killed.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just the usual tweaks. They would continuously do these balance updates and any bugs that were
just to keep the meta fresh.
Really, game breaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's nice that there's one final piece of content for it. So it does look a bit recycled, like the church looks like a lot of the other churches. But what can you ask? I don't know how old it is now, but it's pretty old.
I assumed it was dead already.
They said they've been working on it for 7 years of development.
Right.
So it's been a while now. But basically, the reason I talk about this is because it was the last update, and the team is now going to work on their new game, 83, which I think we've talked about in a podcast before. So we'll have to look forward to see how that's going to turn out. But I thought, as you are Vietnam Dave, I thought it would be.
Oh, only came out in 2017.
Apparently. 27, maybe, I don't know. Was it ever in early access?
Yeah, that's my question now.
Let me look it up. I know it is definitely getting to the end of its lifespan, because they just gave it away for free in Epic, around the end of last year, I believe it was, and then It's just gone on sale again as they've done this big last update. So they're trying to get as many people in the door before they go and work on the next game, sort of thing. But if you like realistic military shooters set in Vietnam, this is the one game for you, because I don't think there's many
That
of
sounds
those at
very
this point.
niche.
No, but it still has a consistent player base. It's not always large, but you're pretty much always guaranteed to find a server.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, you'll have to wait to get in servers. So the fan base it has got is pretty dedicated to it. So I wouldn't say the game's dead, but
You
the devs are
always
moving
have
on.
one guy screaming at you, giving you orders and stuff like that.
You have a lot of people screaming, mostly go home GI and other racist stuff, but
Right.
Right.
Just the community. It's just the community. Right. Steam news. There is a new EU zone country currencies coming to Steam. So the Swedish krona, the Bulgarian lev, the Croatian kuna, the Czech koruna, the Danish krone, the Hungarian forint, and the Romanian leu.
Do you ever just look at some of these currencies and go, maybe I should just adopt the euro?
Well, because I know, like, having a lot of Swedish friends, they use the krona a lot for everything. But then, like, whenever they talk about like Steam game stuff, they talk about how many euros it costs. So it's probably like a lot easier for them now. And also, like, I think the krona was like, it's basically times 10. £1 is like 10 krona, I think it is. It's like the what the rough exchange rate was like 3 years ago, but who the hell knows now?
I guess it's always good to have more ways like for you to pay and like make it understandable for each.
Yeah.
Because like converting is like an absolute, like, say like if we didn't have like pounds, for example, like everything was just in dollars, that'd be real pain in the ass. So it's good to have this.
I don't know. It's just like, because for the longest time the Humble Bundle store was in dollars, and I would just it annoyed me.
Yeah, but I guess you don't really care about this, but technically that would mean that the Humble Bundle would change depending on what the exchange rate between dollar and pound was.
Yeah, and Humble actually did a thing where they gave you the regional price difference as currency in their store when you bought it, which is pretty cool. I think they still do those to this day, maybe.
I just feel like when it comes to Steam, is so big that they can kind of like take the cost of like the exchange rates between currencies changing all the time to like go, yeah, it's just now static at this cost.
Well, they want to keep the exchange rates existing, but the European Union's like, no, this is.
Oh, they want the economic zones, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see how that goes. So I don't know if I talked about this, but 2 years ago, secret club member Florison, he remoted a remote code execution flaw affecting all Source engine games. So I don't know if you know about this, but for like a long time, this has been known for 2 years. If somebody sent you a Steam invite, they could use a remote code to access your computer.
Right, okay.
And it could be triggered through Steam invites. If you join a community server on a Source game, it could get into your computer. It was a huge exploit, and it'd been known about for 2 years, and Valve didn't do anything about it until there was a massive public stink about it, and now they have fixed it. So,
okay.
So the Valve Steam invite remote code execution exploit has been fixed. But the same group who reported several other critical Source engine exploits, which have yet to be fixed as far as we know, and Valve only acted on this one after being publicly shamed for ignoring it for 2 years. So we'll have to see if they want to pull their finger out.
I swear Valve used to like act on these things quicker. Like what's happened? Like,
are we talking about the same company here? Valve executing on things quickly?
Well, no, okay, but they've actually like addressed things before. Like they weren't. This seems ridiculously slow even for Valve. I don't know. I feel like I'm one to the old Valve.
Dead. They're living on piles of Dota 2 loot boxes and CS:GO loot boxes. Nvidia news. Nvidia DLSS. Oh, this is huge. Nvidia DLSS is natively supported in Unity 2021.2. So now DLSS is now supported in Unreal Engine and Unity natively. This is fucking huge. Like,
Yeah.
The two big game engines.
I guess we should say that doesn't automatically mean that every game will have it. Like, it just means that it's a lot easier to implement now it's part of it.
Yeah, because like with the whole Microsoft, we talked about this last week. The whole Microsoft DirectX 12 agility, they're trying to make it way easier to implement.
Yes.
DirectX 12, like features such as ray tracing and DLSS into your games. So the easier it is for people to implement this stuff into their games, like
the more it'll be.
having these like plugins that are just easily to put into your games, like it's gonna make the adopt rate so much bigger. So
so hopefully you get uses out of your 3080s and 3060s. You definitely have.
Well, and your 20 series cards are RTX as well.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I think 30 series have a much bigger improvement there.
Also, with Nvidia broadcast noise reduction to be built into OBS with the next driver update. So the beta version of OBS 27, if you download the RTX Voice SDK, you can have Nvidia's RTX Voice as a filter on OBS, and I think this is pretty huge because I literally used RTX Voice.
Yeah, everyone uses OBS, right?
For the podcast because it's such a useful feature to have, and instead of having to, because what I do is in the summer it gets really fucking hot, and I have my air conditioning unit on, and I have the big Yeti mic that picks up lots of noise, so I need to have like the filter to stop all the aircon noises getting through. So I'd have to like keep swapping my mic settings around when I was using RTX Voice. Now with this, you can just enable it in your audio mixer settings as a filter. So you're able to turn it on and off, and you'll be able to adjust it on the fly inside OBS with your other sliders, which is really cool. So at the moment, it's only on the beta version of OBS 27. We are on OBS 26. But when the full version of OBS 27 is available for launch, OBS 27 launches, it will come with RTX Voice inside of it. So you won't have to download any third-party stuff, which is really fucking cool to see. That's going to help adoption rate, as we said before. The easier you make it, the more people that will use it.
I'm looking forward I feel like we're now going to be at the tipping point of just like almost every game having some form. Well, maybe not every game, but like every like big game having some form of RTX. I say RTX. Ray tracing. RTX is an Nvidia thing, right?
The UK government is investigating the Nvidia ARM acquisition. There's been some concerns that the ARM is kind of a neutral maker, and Nvidia having sole possession.
I guess it helps that
chip maker.
ARM's kind of a UK thing.
Yeah.
So I guess they're more incentive to investigate it than any other country. So I guess that's the reason why we're doing it. I'm not sure.
The competition.
I guess it's all like anti-competitive stuff, right?
Yeah, they just want to make sure there's going to be no monopolies going on in the digital world. So there's definitely none of those. There's no Disneys. There's nothing like that.
But we actually have a say on it because ARM is a UK based. Well, at least it was. It's owned by SoftBank before. I guess it's still technically a UK company though.
I was talking about this for Warzone Season 3 has now launched with DLSS. I was going to say in the podcast doc there was a rumor about it launching with this, but it's officially launched. So you can now use DLSS on Warzone, which is one of the biggest games in the world right now, very popular battle royale game. I was saying to my brother today, he was like, I love playing Warzone, it's chugging, and I'm like, you should turn DLSS on. I was like, oh wait, you don't have an RTX card, you've got a 1080 card. You can't turn DLSS on.
It's the future, AI-driven games.
Yep.
AI, I guess performance increasing.
If you plan on buying a GPU, fuck you. All right, let's move on.
Is that what you're going to say about that?
Nvidia expects GPU shortage to continue for much of this year. So basically, Nvidia thinks you're not going to get a graphics card until at least 2022, which I agree with. I think it looks like that. Lots of people are saying 2023, to be honest with you. So we're really gonna have to see what's.
I'm gonna say that 2020, end of 2022 to 20. Start of 2022. Like I feel like it won't be as scarce, but it's still gonna be an absolute pain in the ass. This is my prediction. And then 2023, it might be back to normal.
VR news. Oculus has announced an officially wireless PC streaming called the Airlink and 120 Hz support for the Quest 2 coming soon in the version 28 update. This is fucking huge. For the longest time...
Why the best VR stuff come from the most evil companies, though? What's going on?
For the longest time, one of the best ways to play VR was to have a 5 gigahertz wireless router and then use virtual desktop to stream your PC to your Oculus Quest 2 headset and have fully untethered VR on with PC level hardware games. And
Yeah.
now it's going to be an official feature through Airlink. So, and also this will make Quest the only other major VR headset that supports above 90 Hz refresh rate as well, other than the Index, which is still, I checked it the other day, £920.
Yeah.
And the Quest 2 is £300. And I'm saying, like,
My
this is why the Quest 2 is such a good fucking deal.
My question is, though, do you think it's so cheap because they're selling your data or using your data to make money? Because like, you have to have a Facebook
I
account?
think they're, like, maybe even selling it cost just to try and get more people into the system.
Right,
Then
right,
they're gonna
okay.
like expand from. They're gonna start making more reasonably priced stuff, or like
Right.
as the technology gets cheaper, they'll be able to make stuff that they can make bigger profits on because they'll get it at
Yeah.
a cheaper rate. Is what I think.
Right, okay. That kind of makes
But the
sense.
really cool thing about Airlink is, so I don't know if you know about this, but Oculus Quest 2 has a feature called asynchronous space warp, which is a tech feature which gives you a smoother experience when the application you're playing can't meet the target frame rate. So this will help like the Quest 2 when it has to play like more demanding titles. And what it does is it halves the frame rate of what you're playing, and it supplies interpolated frames with warped geometry in order to make up the frames for a performance
Yeah.
boost, which is like a
Yeah.
really cool technology. I've talked about
Yeah, yeah.
how like PlayStation VR did something similar to this in the past.
It's very similar,
and how
wasn't it?
you can use like Nvidia's AI to do stuff like this to cheat in resolution with stuff like DLSS and stuff like that, where like more higher resolution for less frame rates is so much more important in terms of like motion sickness and higher refresh rate and stuff like that. Virtual Desktop did not support this because it was a tech that was built for the Oculus Quest 2. So my biggest question is, will Airlink allow you to use this technology? If Airlink allows you to use this technology, it will be a game changer. And it,
Yeah.
like, the sheer fact that it's just built straight into the headset, I think it's going to be a huge boost in people using this, because I feel like not a lot of people actually know about like the virtual desktop remote streaming that are outside the VR world.
Yeah, I had no idea about it.
But it's like widely considered in the VR space to be one of the best VR experiences. Like people have said, like, because the best wireless implementations right now are the Quest 2 with virtual desktop and like the Vive Pro with like the wireless attachment. And people have said,
Yeah,
like,
that weird. That's that weird big antenna or wide antenna thing, right?
you stick like an attachment on the back of the Vive and then you
Yeah.
play wireless. I think it lasts
Yeah.
for like 2 or 3 hours. I think like the Quest, I think like the battery is like the biggest thing for like wireless technology right now.
Yeah.
Not that you would play like VR straight for like 2 or 3 hours anyway, but
Oh, do you not? Okay, fair enough.
well, it depends on who you are. I mean, maybe if
But I
you
guess the question is, okay, but I guess you would need like fast charging, right? It's like so you could like I'm gonna play it for a couple of hours,
multiple
charge the headset,
batteries
and
where you
then put it down.
charge the
Yeah,
battery
yeah,
and then replace it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
for all you
That'll do it as well.
niche VR people who need multiple wireless batteries. But people have basically said after playing untethered VR, it's really hard to go back to the wired tethered VR sort of thing. So
Fair enough, fair enough. I just think it's really cool to like pretend you're the Borg Queen, so I feel like I quite like the
well,
tetheredness.
we got to see 7 and 9 and Picard going off as the Borg Queen. So that was cool.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Can't wait for season 2.
Can't wait for season 2. It's going to be so good.
Can't wait for season 4 of Discovery.
No. Basically, Oculus is making their own virtual desktop. They're also allowing you to pair your physical keyboard with the Quest 2, so you can for
nice.
better input for when you're inside VR. I think 120 hertz is really cool. That's a game changer. Obviously, motion sickness and higher refresh rate.
I guess we would say this makes the Quest 2 the best all round.
Yeah.
In terms of pretty much everything, right? Like price, performance, frame rate, refresh rate.
Price, performance, accessibility.
Doesn't have
features,
really good lenses as well for like the price as well.
It has that because it also had getting the Quest will give you access to Quest exclusives as well, and you can play the Steam VR titles as well. So it just seems like if anyone was like, "I'm interested in VR," I'm not going to say to them, "Okay, you need to spend £900 in an index."
Yeah.
I'm going to say to them, I literally said it to like. I literally said this to you, Tony. It's like you were like, I'm kind of interested in VR. I was like, get a Quest 2. I was like, that's the best. If you think you're interested in VR, just get a Quest 2. It's the best way to get it.
Should probably add the caveat of Facebook account required, but like I feel like a lot of people are not going to care. I feel like I'm like one of the only people that do care about that. So
you already have a Facebook account, Tony. You don't use it.
That's true. They can't collect any data on it. I can't log into it, so I have to create a new one.
I think my friend Matt, he said he was struggling because he made a Facebook account just for the Oculus and they were unhappy about it and he had to. It was kind of a pain
about it.
Well, I talked about this in the podcast before. They literally said like they didn't want people to just make dummy Facebook accounts, and they were going to like try and stop people from doing it.
It won't be a dummy Facebook account. They just don't provide any other service they care about.
I don't know. Anyway, we also had an Oculus gaming showcase where we got to show off some new games coming. Basically, what we saw was Pistol Whip, Smoke and Thunder. I don't know if you've seen Pistol Whip. It's like the rhythm shooting game.
Oh, yeah. I have seen this actually. Yeah.
Pistol Whip Wild West. It's coming. Basically, it looks like they're making like a Cowboys version of it, and that looks fucking cool. Because earlier this year there was Pistol Whip 2089, which was a free 5-level expansion of the game, which brought new gameplay ideas and a light narrative illustrated with graphic novel art style. Similar to that expansion, the game's getting another free expansion. It's a good time to invest in Pistol Whip. It's also coming to the Quest 2 if you want to get it on the Quest 2. So
yeah.
Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Part 2 is coming to Quest. All the Star Wars games are exclusive to Quest. I've heard Vader Immortal is alright, but I couldn't tell you anything about them because I haven't played them. I think Vader Immortal's alright, but then Tales from the Galaxy is more just an advertisement for the Disney ride.
Right, okay.
We got a trailer for
Wraith. I can't play as Snail Facer.
We've got a trailer for Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife coming to Quest and Rift April 22. I like it when they're saying it's a Quest PC game, which basically just means it's a VR game that's gonna be on PC and you can plug your Quest into the PC and play it. It's a Quest PC game, but it's another like I don't know. I kind of like VR. I never like horror games, but I kind of like VR horror games. I just find them like a lot more interesting. It looks pretty cool. Like I'm interested to play this.
I feel like looking at your own arms and seeing like weird stuff on it in VR would be amazing.
But this is also coming to Steam, so if you don't have a Quest 2, you can also play this on Steam. So that's why I put it on here.
Yeah.
I said when they announced I Expect You to Die 2, there was no way it wasn't going to be on Quest, and yes, officially coming to the Quest as well.
Fair enough.
And also a game called Lone Echo 2 that's been like delayed for like 2 years at this point is coming. It's finally supposed to launch on Oculus PC. Oculus PC, they're titled to say we don't have exclusives to it, but it's going to come onto PC.
Right, yeah.
Basically it's been like long delayed. I don't know much about the game, but it's a big anticipated title for VR fans. It's only been officially confirmed for release on Oculus PC for Rift and Quest via Link. So it's only officially you can get it on the Oculus Store. I don't know if it's coming to Steam as well. We don't know yet, but we'll have to find out about that.
Yeah.
So we've got some news. One of the weirdest news is the indie game store itch.io is joining the Epic Games Store. And at first I read this was like, what the fuck? The Epic Games Store bought itch.io? That's one of the weirdest things ever. No, you can just launch itch.io through the Epic Games Store. So not only...
I'm not doing that.
Because this just seems like the most random thing. Like, I have itch.io on my computer. I use it to download random games. Indie games.
So,
like
because, okay, here's a problem. So I don't like using the Epic Launcher. I use GOG Galaxy, right? So I could launch itch through GOG, through Epic, through... Is that a thing I can do?
Why?
I don't know.
Well, basically,
why am I launching it through Epic?
Epic's trying to become like a massive multimedia because they got the game store, they've got the licenses to their engines and stuff.
Yeah.
They want to make more. They do stuff with like the Mandalorian. They want to be like a big tech company. They basically you can join it. You can download apps now from the Epic Store. You can download iHeartRadio and Brave browser.
Why?
Whatever those are. Apparently,
the Brave browser is a security type browser, but still Chromium based, I believe. Okay.
Apparently, the Epic Launcher already lets you download Spotify. So if you want to download,
but why
the Spotify app?
But why do I need to launch it from Epic Store though? I can just launch it.
I guess the idea from those companies is there might be people who use Epic who've never heard of Spotify, and then they go, "Oh, what's this Spotify thing? I'm gonna download that and buy a Spotify premium account." I don't know.
I think it should make more sense to launch Epic through Spotify. Like, if we get that integration.
I don't think they would ever do that. So users will download if you download itch.io on the store. If you download it, you will download itch.io on the store as you would any other Apple game. Once it's downloaded and you launch it, if it's its own thing basically. Epic doesn't take a percentage of any of the sales of the game on itch.io. Itch.io is completely...
so it's just launching the application?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Why?
I know why. It's because there's a massive lawsuit between Epic and Apple, and Epic is arguing that them trying to get away from the 30% cut from iOS is we're not just a Fortnite game company, we're also an app store, and they're trying to prove they're an app store. So they're like, well, you can launch Spotify through the Epic Games. You can launch itch.io through Epic Games. You can launch Brave browser. We're an app store. You should allow us to compete on the iOS market. The iOS market is a closed system.
If they were okay, for me personally, that doesn't make them more or less of an app store. Like, I feel like because they're not allowed to be an app store on iOS right now, that's like a reason why they haven't done it. Like, I don't think they need evidence of that to push that through. In my opinion, not necessarily legally, but like in an ideal world.
I don't think they legitimately were like, we need the Brave browser and itch.io and stuff. I think it's just literally to help their lawsuit. I think this is why this exists.
Yeah, I think it just feels stupid that they even have to do that. But well, hopefully Epic do actually get be able to actually have other app stores on iOS. That'd be great.
They've announced a new funding round of $1 billion to support Epic's long-term vision of the metaverse. I have no Does anyone know what a metaverse is?
What?
I tried to find out what the word metaverse meant, and apparently it's numerous software all sharing the same virtual space.
That doesn't mean anything. That's just words put together. What does that mean?
Is that another play where they're trying to say we're getting funding because we're an app store?
Well, did they get a lot of money from Sony in the last round as well?
Because this round includes an additional $200 million strategic investment from Sony Group Corporation.
Yeah.
When I read metaverse,
which is crazy.
When I read metaverse, I thought they were talking about the actual metaverse inside Fortnite, where you have like Halo Master Chief and like Kratos and all of the different universes together in Fortnite. I thought that's what they were talking about, but no, apparently it's like some sort of strategic company thing where they're trying to be a big conglomerate of different apps and ideas and games and social structures. And I don't know. Epic's turning into a religion. I don't know what's going on at this point.
I don't think do you find it weird though that like this like amount of money is more money than some industries in some countries? Like this insane amounts of money.
Tony, they got Marcus Brownlee Fortnite. Of course they can do this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They can do what they want. It's just insane how much money technology has going through tech companies.
I got news to go through. We've got to go through this quicker because I'm stalling too much. Zombie news. The House of the Dead remake 2 is coming to. House of the Dead remake. Sorry, not 2. House of the Dead remake is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is a remade version of the game introduced in 1997 in arcade platforms. If you've been inside a cinema or a arcade in the past 10 to 20 years, you've probably seen House of the Dead playing at one point. I know I have.
I definitely have. Yeah.
I think I've probably played a House of the Dead. I always thought these games were cool. It's interesting to not play them with those, what are they called, light guns? Those plastic guns that you would point at the screen. There is some third-party light gun technology that I've seen some videos on Linus Tech Tips of Anthony talking about a light gun AR camera sort of thing that you can use for duck hunt and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But really cool. Obviously this makes sense to come out on the Switch because the Switch has the Joy-Con controllers, which make a lot of sense to use instead of a light gun sort of thing.
How much processing do you need for a House of the Dead remake?
But I would be very interested if they also brought this to PC.
VR.
That's what I was going to say. This would make. I just thought about it. House of the Dead would make so much more. Would make massive sense as a VR game. Why haven't they made this yet?
Like a seated VR experience as well. I would assume. You don't even have to be. Yeah. That makes more sense.
Next zombie news. Days Gone PC version is coming on May 18th. It's officially confirmed for that day, 2021, and we also got a trailer showing some of the features. So this footage is captured in 4K, 60 FPS. I believe they showed ultra wide support. They basically showed stuff like that. It just looks a lot better on PC. Yep, ultra wide monitor support is confirmed. Unlocked frame rate, you can play in any one. Increased level, 8 times the detail, 8 times the size. Look at the foliage. I'm going to turn to Todd Howard.
Yeah.
Super resolution. Can you imagine it?
No.
So yeah, that's cool. We've got a little teaser. So we had a Resident Evil event as well. Resident Evil is joining the Dead by Daylight universe this June. This is fucking sweet news. Basically, we got a Dead by Daylight trailer, and what it showed was the Umbrella Corp logo being dropped on the floor. So we don't know who is coming to the
Leon.
No, it's gonna be a killer. Well, they might do a Survivor as well. They could do Leon. That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I think that it should be Barzak, the zombie shark from Resident Evil 6. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the new killer to Dead by Daylight, Barzak, the shark from Resident Evil 6.
Who's the survivor at that point? You have to choose someone really shit.
The survivor is the player for trying to survive Resident Evil 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the? I can't remember who the president's daughter in Resident Evil 4 is anymore. I can't remember what her name is.
Is it Ashley?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I only know this is because they've also announced that Resident Evil 4 is coming to VR, and I'm like, yes, finally!
Excellent.
Resident Evil 4 is being remade from the ground up for VR, and it's going to be exclusively. It's going to be exclusive on the Oculus Quest 2. So fuck me. I really wanted to play Resident Evil 7, and it's a PlayStation VR exclusive still to this day. And I really wanted to play Resident Evil 4 VR, and it's going to be an Oculus Quest 2 exclusive.
Right, I guess it's time for Pirate Bay.
I guess it's time for you to buy a Quest 2, because it's the only way you're going to be able to play it. And the really funny thing is, Tony, it's not even on the Quest 1. It's exclusive to the Quest 2, which is
Why?
I guess they didn't have
Performance?
Yeah, I guess they couldn't get it to run on a Quest 1 at all, because it basically, if it's running on the Quest 2, it's basically an Android app at that point.
Yeah.
So them making it as an Android app would make sense. They wouldn't necessarily want to try and support a PC version as well. But also, if it's an Oculus exclusive, wouldn't you want it to also run in the Rift? It feels like Oculus is just saying fuck the Rift at this point. We're only making things for the Quest 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Feels a bit weird.
From all of the footage we've seen, it's confirmed. It's made for the VR full up. Dual wielding's confirmed, so you can wield a knife and a pistol. You can wield two-handed weapons.
See, that makes sense. Like, oh, you have to awkwardly get your knife out, and like that's gonna be shit. Like, just have both of them out at the same time.
You can there's physical interactions you do. I love the phone system they have.
Jesus Christ, that's gonna be good.
But yeah, this game looks like a really fun game I will probably never play. So that's my exciting news of stuff I won't play. The thing is, I really don't want to get a Quest 2 because I already have the Vive. So I would only be getting a system to play an exclusive, and it would be one exclusive. And I've always avoided that in the past. Like, I didn't buy a PS4 just to play the God of War or the Ratchet and Clank games. I didn't buy a Switch just so I could play the Mario games or the Zelda games.
Right.
I feel like it's such a waste of money to just buy a system to play a couple of games.
I guess, but what if you played it a lot though? Like, I feel like if you played Zelda a lot, it'd be worth it, even if it was
But I don't know I would, because
game franchise you bought.
So
that's fair. It's fair.
Such a huge investment.
It's definitely a big investment.
We've got some quick Capcom news and a little bit of Microsoft news, and then we'll end the podcast. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is coming July 27th to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Steam. So you'll be able to play another Ace Attorney game on Steam. Capcom Arcade Stadium is also coming to Steam. This is a collection of a bunch of old Capcom arcade games. You'll be able to play them natively through Steam. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection, the remaster on the Switch, is also coming to Steam. And as I watched someone who streamed this. This game is ridiculously fucking hard. And so if you remember this really, really old Ghost and Goblins game, and you're like someone who's a glutton for punishment, you'll probably want to be picking this one up on Steam. There was also a Capcom contract with Sony was leaked recently, where it showed a new anti-Game Pass clause that prevented devs from using other competitive subscription services. So, looks like Resident Evil Village won't be coming to Xbox Game Pass for at least a year. This is the result of a confidential agreement between Capcom and Sony. It looks like Sony may be introducing an anti-Game Pass clause in all its contracts with studios. Because also, Game Pass has actually just reached 23 million subscriber count this month. There's a lot of people on Game Pass now.
That's kind of insane.
Could this be the start of the Sony Xbox Game Pass competitor coming out? I know they have PlayStation Plus, but they don't have a real big competitor to Xbox Game Pass. And right now, Xbox Game Pass has all of the EA games, all of the Bethesda games, and all of the Microsoft Studio games, and it's just a big behemoth compared to the offerings from Sony.
It's kind of the Netflix of Game Passes.
It's the Netflix of gaming, yep. There it is.
I mean, they even tried to just rename it to Game Pass, so it's just going to be really confusing.
Yep. Microsoft news. Microsoft. Oh, Tony, it's time to pat myself on the back.
Oh yeah, it's this news. Yeah.
I said on the podcast, I predict that Microsoft will talk about direct storage tech on the PC I said specifically April of 2021, and I was right. We got an update on direct storage.
I mean, it's good news as well.
It's good news as well, because I have PCIe Gen 3 SSDs. It will support Gen 3 PCI Express SSDs as well as Gen 4. People were concerned because...
I was concerned.
The Xbox Series X and S have Gen 4 SSDs, as well as the PS5 has a Gen 4 SSD. And people are concerned that they would make it so that you would have to have a Gen 4 one because not a lot of motherboards actually support you have to have like a more recent motherboard to have the Gen 4 SSD support.
It's Ryzen 3 and above, basically, right? And Intel 11th gen and above, so it's quite recent.
So people are a little bit concerned that they would have to upgrade their motherboards to even get a chance to use this technology, but it seems like that's not the case, and I think most people these days will have a motherboard that will have a PCIe 3.0 connector on it, so that is cool to see.
Okay. The other thing I was going to point out as well. I guess we need to kind of wait for we don't know what type of SSD is the best SSD yet.
Yeah.
So we're kind of waiting.
Yeah,
I think we get more information in summer.
They said on the original release they would give a list of like pre-approved ones. They would say they're going to work with SSD makers to try and build a list of SSDs. They say this technology definitely works on these.
Yeah. I'm going to assume this is going to be my guess is that
Sabrent, Samsung, WD.
Well, no. I'm just saying PCI 4, Gen 4 SSDs will probably have the best performance with this technology, but I reckon it's still going to be really good to have, even if you just got a Gen 3, Gen 3 SSD. So I'm hoping it can be like a really big game changer for loading times.
There will be a limited developer preview of Direct Storage will be available sometime later this summer. So developers are basically going to get their hands on this in summer, so they'll be able to start developing the tech, and it will be supported by all DirectX 12 graphics cards. So if you have a RTX 20 or 30 series or a RX 6000 card, that will provide the best experience for DirectX storage.
I guess all the cards that support ray tracing, kind of coincidentally.
Well, I mean, the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5 both have Radeon cards in them. They have basically this 6000 series inside them, so that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I was just saying it's kind of a nice does this card support this direct storage technology? If it supports ray tracing, it seems to at the moment. Not because it's a requirement, just like that just happens to be like when the technology changed over.
Yeah. Microsoft is building a new app store for Windows 10 in a major revitalization effort. So if you are like me and you tried to use the Microsoft Store and be like, this fucking sucks, Microsoft's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. So they're going to change it. So at the moment...
Aren't they changing Windows 10 stuff as well at some point? Like the actual UI elements?
At the moment, basically what happened was Windows was trying to consolidate all of their programs under the UWP program. Yeah. Like Sea of Thieves, if you play Sea of Thieves on Game Pass, that's running on DWP, because the idea was if they consolidate all of their things under UWP, I think it's Universal Windows Program, it could run on a PC and it could run on an Xbox, and they would have this big ecosystem where you could just easily change one from the other. Like you could just do a change on the PC and then it would change it on the Xbox, and just it'd be easier to use basically. But then they immediately gave up on this idea pretty quickly, where they've stopped doing stuff with UWP now. So they're allowing developers to submit unpackaged windowed 32 apps to the store now, so you don't have to upload a UWP. They're allowing developers to host apps and updates on their own content delivery networks, their own CDNs, so you don't have to host it through Microsoft.
Their servers.
And they're allowing developers to use third-party commerce platforms in the app, so their own payment systems and stuff like that. So changing to the App Store there, because I think wasn't Microsoft one of the people that was behind Epic when it came to their dispute with iOS and Google? We think this is a good idea, and they were like, "Hey, let's change our App Store that no one uses to be more competitive."
Well, yeah, they've said that. I think this is what this might not be the actual chain of events, but Microsoft supported Epic, and people pointed out but surely you can't do this on Microsoft. They're like, oh yeah, we have plans of changing it to be in line with what Epic says. So it's not.
Go on.
I was gonna say, also you don't have to use the App Store to load other stuff. That's the only thing I would say about that as well.
So we actually may be seeing our first good thing to come from the Microsoft Bethesda acquisition. For the first time, the Elder Scrolls Online will let players acquire loot box items without paying real-world money. So according to this article, this change might be due to Microsoft Xbox Games loot box policy. So if you're a Microsoft Xbox game, they require loot box items to be acquired through gameplay too.
Yeah, I will say that doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm gonna say it's an improvement, but it might be like a really minor improvement because
so
what a lot of games do is make it really hard to get them in game.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it took so long to get the loot box items through actual gameplay that it just made it so it wasn't worth it for a lot of people.
Yeah. I also don't like the idea of having gambling stuff just in the game, even if like it was like a loot box you could earn in game. Like unless it made a lot of sense, like I feel like it's still manipulative.
Because even like Sea of Thieves, they added like a microtransaction store to the game after launch when they said they weren't going to. Even that game, you earn store currency by playing. I've been earning store currency. I have no idea how I've been earning it, but I have like 500 store currency from somewhere. I don't know how I do it.
From the Plunder Pass.
Yeah,
they give you some free.
Yeah, so for like the Battle Pass thing, they give you like free store currency, which is kind of cool.
Right. Okay.
So, our last piece of news, then we're going to end the podcast. This is huge news for Blizzard.
This is the last Blizzard, like big Blizzard blow.
I think this is the last big blow for Blizzard. I've always said like Ben Brode was the face of Hearthstone. He left to form his own company. Now Jeff from the Overwatch team, Jeff Kaplan, is leaving Blizzard. This is massive. Jeff is the face of Overwatch.
Yeah.
He was like one of the. You know when you were like, who can you say is like the face of a game or the lead dev of the game?
Like Colin for Guild Wars.
And I was like, well, you can always say Jeff from the Overwatch team. He's like the guy for Overwatch, and everyone knows and looks to him. But yeah, Jeff Kaplan's leaving Blizzard. So the statement said, "We want to let you know that Jeff Kaplan has decided to leave the company after a long and storied career here, and that Aaron Keller, a Blizzard veteran and founding member of the Overwatch team, will be stepping in as a game director. Aaron has been a critical part of the Overwatch team and a key driver in creating the vision for the game. He helped create Overwatch as an original member of the team. As an 18-year veteran at Blizzard, he worked side by side with Jeff for a long time, not only in building Overwatch, but previously in helping to build WoW as well. I think the most telling thing will be what Jeff does after he's left Blizzard." Like if he was to leave Blizzard and go join Dreamhaven, for example, where that's the company with a bunch of ex Blizzard devs, I think that would say more about what's going on inside Activision Blizzard than him like necessarily like going off and doing something else.
Or just retire or temporary moving away from games.
We've had because I keep hearing about like more and more like OG old school veteran Blizzard devs leaving the company and going and joining Dreamhaven. Like they basically
they're getting bigger and bigger all the time, right? Like in terms of like dev size.
The big Mike Monaghan company.
Yeah.
So, be interested to see like what Dreamhaven comes out with. It just feels like an end of an era for like the Blizzard we know is gone. Activision Blizzard is here to stay. It's like at this point it felt like for a long time Blizzard was like a separate company, but now it's like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush are all made by the same conglomerate at this point.
Yeah, for me personally, like, I don't really like anything Activision does these days, which I guess is good. But like for a lot of people, I guess people really like Call of Duty, people really like Warcraft and Overwatch. They're kind of stuck with Activision. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I feel like Activision is like, like EA was like the worst like in 2018. Like I feel like Activision is the worst by far.
Tony, EA's the standards for
EA's a good guy
companies has got so low that EA's kind of the good guys.
Yeah, well, okay, I agree with that, but I also think EA's slightly improved as well, only slightly But I do also think the state of the industry is so bad that we think now consider EA is not the worst. It's now one of the best ones. Like that's really bad.
Well, I think it's like Valve has been knocked down quite a few pegs.
Yep.
CD Projekt Red just took a huge hit recently. Microsoft's gained a lot of good shit.
They do still some shady shit, and they still they kind of meddle in the dev teams that they buy, like Obsidian things. So they definitely they definitely increased for me, but they're still
I'm investing. Microsoft stock's on the rise. I'm investing. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if I talked about this, but apparently Discord and Microsoft have ended talks. So Discord won't be being bought by Microsoft anymore. So
yeah, that is true though.
Seems like Discord might just go public instead. Let's read a Pitmology tweet and end because I know this has been a long one. Imagine a game where various sections can only be played for a short amount of time at specific times in the day, which varies based on where you live in the world and what system you're playing it on. And people have been saying that's Pokemon Go you're describing. Some people have made comparisons to Guild Wars 2. Oh, right. Just Guild Wars specifically, not 2, sorry. I think Animal Crossing would be a good comparison to what he's talking about here. But yeah.
I was going to say, this kind of, not related to this really at all, but it reminds me of that stupid volume slider thing. Is that right? Where your latitude is the volume you get.
Oh,
it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, the thing where people are designing really stupid volume sliders and where you will determine what volume your slider would be. That is pretty hilarious, yeah. But anyway, that's the end of the podcast. We'll end now.
It's a huge one this week.
Oh,
Big Chungus
on the PS4.
Yes.
I just realised that I changed the photo of our ending screen, so I'm gonna have to put that up quickly because I moved my pictures folder to a different drive. You can check us out anything in between podcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and at Scorn2000 if you want to follow me on Twitter for some reason. That's the end of the podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
I tried to. Oh, can they? Hello, this is David's podcast now. With my
podcast. Hello.
10 top fun fruit facts. Number 1. I like mangoes.